What's up, guys? It's Coaster Maniac USA here, and today I'm back with another episode of the Kings Island Show. So let's go ahead and get started. So, like I said, we're back with another episode of the Kings Island Show. It has been a while since I have actually made an episode of the Kings Island Show. But let's go ahead and get started with our first topic, and that was, how was the 2014 Halloween Haunt? Halloween Haunt was okay. I think I've been to better Halloween Haunts in Kings Island's history. As a lot of you guys know, their Nightmare Alley, that they like to call it at the beginning, when you first walk in, when there's like a big kind of wall of monsters, as years have gone on, that's really thinned down a lot. So I don't really recall a lot of people who were walking around and trying to scare you. They do have the normal slide people where they got the knee pads and they run and slide, but mostly there wasn't a lot of people walking around, and that's kind of weird because that kind of takes the fun out of Halloween Haunt for some people, but they did have a couple mazes. Actually, they had a lot of mazes. I did have a chance to go through most of them. I didn't have a chance to go through all of them. The two biggest changes for Halloween Haunt this year was they had a new maze called Kill Mart, which for most people was a 2-hour wait. It was for me as well. I went through it. It was probably the best maze of the night. And the new Slaughterhouse. Yes, they changed Slaughterhouse, where it used to be an action zone. It's actually backed by the Beast now in its own building. So that was actually a pretty good maze as well. It's not near as... I actually think it's better than the original Slaughterhouse. But we went through most of the mazes, like Club Blood, which was actually not that fun this year. Wolfpack, which was better last year. Delta Delta Die. Urgent Scare, which in 2009, 2010, when I went through it, it was probably the most scariest maze at Kings Island, but it's not anymore. Like, it actually kind of sucked this year. So that was that. We went through more. We went through about 8 mazes, so that was Halloween Haunt. It wasn't that bad. I enjoyed my time there, and yeah, so that was Halloween Haunt. So now let's talk about the good and the bad of Kings Island in 2014. The good part, they built Banshee. Banshee was definitely a big deal this season at Kings Island, if you guys already didn't know that, and if you didn't know that, how do you not know that? But Banshee was definitely the big deal breaker this year. Everybody went to Kings Island for Banshee. Actually, I got to ride it on opening weekend, so that was interesting. I loved it, and I really think that is what brought more attention to Kings Island throughout the year. As far as that goes, throughout the season, Kings Island did have its problems, where it wasn't really that big going on. Some interesting things happened throughout the year, but most part of it was good. Actually, it was kind of a crowded year at Kings Island. They actually said that they had a record number of visitors this year. The Beast got a lot of riders. Diamondback got a lot of riders. Those are two rides that normally get the most riders in the park. This year was the Beast's 35th year. And really, Kings Island didn't do much for it. They put a plaque outside the ride, but other than that, there was really nothing big with the Beast's 35th anniversary. I do have a picture of it, and I will try to get it somewhere, and if I don't get it somewhere in this video, I'll have a link below for you guys to go check it out. But really, they didn't announce much of it, so I think that was kind of bad. I think it did deserve more recognition than it did. So, really, most of the things that happened this year at Kings Island were good. Not a lot of them were bad. Like I said, Halloween Haunt was kind of iffy, but overall, the 2014 season was pretty good. So Kings Island, for the 2015 season, has already announced a lot of new things that are going to be changing the park. The first two that I want to talk about are the two new kiddie rides that they're going to have in Kiddie area and the Planet Snoopy area. One of them is Snoopy's Gliders, which is like a ride that you sit in, and it's got two wings and you control it, and as the ride goes on you can glide out. I've rode one of them and a couple years ago, but you guys won't see me in Kitty area. And I forget what the other one is. I think it's called like Snoopy's Blast Off or something like that. But those are two new rides for Kings Island this upcoming season. I feel like Cedar Fair tries to put something new in every year, and that's two of the things that are new. Now, that is not the thing that probably most people are going to be interested when they go to Kings Island, but this one might be. Most people know where Starbucks is at Kings Island. It's always crowded, I feel like, at the corner of International Street, but they are actually moving that Starbucks to another end of International Street, and they are making it the largest Starbucks in the Midwest. I heard that it's going to be 3,650 square feet. So I don't know if it's going to be up and downstairs, like two-story, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be. But yeah, the largest Starbucks in the Midwest. That's kind of weird that it's going to be at Kings Island. I don't know why they want that record, but oh well, I guess. So we'll definitely get to check that out this year. It'll be interesting. And they're also changing the candy store on International Street for this new 2015 season. They're going to be pretty much redoing how it looks, the inside of it, and I'm pretty sure that not a lot of you guys even realized when you were in that candy shop. I actually had to go back a couple times and ask myself, when was I even near that candy shop? I don't even remember walking through it, but then I realized there is one, so they're changing that up. And finally, one of the new things that they are changing this year are the bathrooms. They're actually, I do not know why this was a big thing that Kings Island had to announce, but they're upgrading their bathrooms, I guess, throughout the park. So that's not something that I'm going to want to film. So you guys probably won't get to see the new bathrooms, so you're going to have to go to Kings Island and check that one out yourself. And to end the Kings Island show, I want to talk about my final thoughts on the 2014 season. You know, a lot of good things happened this season, like I said at the beginning of this video. You know, Banshee was introduced, and I think that that was one of the greatest additions that Kings Island could have added to their park. As you look at other Cedar Fair parks, they all had a big inverted roller coaster, and then you looked at Kings Island, and they really didn't. So when Banshee was being announced towards the end of last year around this time, I kind of knew that it was going to be Banshee. And it was going to be, not like I knew that it was going to be named Banshee, but I knew what it was going to be just because it was one key factor that Kings Island was missing throughout, you know, their years. And I'm glad that it's here. You know, a lot of other changes to the park were good, like renaming the Bat, or renaming Flight Deck to the Bat, I'm sorry. But I really do think that that was a good idea. I felt like that ride was a little bit more crowded this year because of that. And yeah, overall, I think the 2014 season was really good. I'm looking forward to a pretty fun 2015 season, but we'll get into that when March comes and we're doing more Kings Island show stuff over what's new and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, that was just a quick episode of the Kings Island show. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button down below, subscribe to see new videos, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.